Hey guys, my name's Aaron. I said that kind of fast. Aaron. There you go. And I am the Rice in Rice RV. I just want to do a quick little video about my channel and just where it's going to be going and things like that. But I'll start with a little bit about me. I've been actually RVing probably for at least about 8 years. A full time for 5 of the first 8, and so I have a little bit of experience about RVing in general. But prior to that, I did a lot of my most experiences was in Class A and gas, and then eventually I graduated out of that to getting into the buses and the bus conversions and things like that, which I love. I simply love. I love the buses. I love RVing in general. Um, but yeah, the buses. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to see if I can grab my camera stand because I'm having an issue with my camera here. So give me a second. I'll be right back. All right. So I'm back. Had to get that camera together, guys. So I was just saying that, yeah, I've been into the buses here lately, and my last several years has been into the buses. So that's what I like. I'm a diesel guy. I just like that diesel. Reason I got into the buses is because I like classic buses. I like the old buses. So in fact, I am in my 4104. GM 4104. It's a 1953, and it's been a great bus, hands down. It's just been a great bus. It's a bus you acquire. Either you acquire a taste for it, you like it, or you don't, because she doesn't have all the creature comforts or technologies of the newer coaches, if you will. But that's precisely what I didn't want. I wanted reliability, durability, longevity, and comfort. All the other stuff I can put in myself that I wanted, which is what I precisely did. But today this is not going to be a video on the bus and touring the bus. But there will be one for you guys that want to see that, because I'm sure you do. But that was one of the reasons I went with the bus. My first RV was a gas. It just wasn't a good experience. It was reliable for the most part, but traveling was very expensive because obviously the fuel was just ridiculously expensive, and it just really wasn't economical. Where it's the bus being a diesel and light for a diesel, it's a lot better. So generally, when I am dealing with an RV, again, like I was telling you guys, I look for certain things: reliability and durability and being functional. I like things to be functional. I don't really care about the glitz of, like I said, creature comforts, because I can put pretty much whatever is in a new bus into this bus that is dealing with creature comforts, which is a beautiful thing when you're doing customs and conversions, because you're not limited to what you can have in your particular coach. But those are the things that I look for, which is hence was one of the reasons why I wanted a 4104. I mean, a lot of the buses were built modeled after the 4104. As a matter of fact, 4104 was probably the first, I believe, commercial bus that came with air ride, that started the air ride. We're talking about back in the 50s. So a lot of these buses with the aluminum bodies, and that's another thing, they're designed to last forever. I mean, the body's aluminum, so you really don't have a big rust issue. And I can go on that into another different video about about the buses. But that's why I went with what I want. And everything that I put in this bus, I put in for a specific reason, to have it functional. I like the cabin look. I like the old cabin look. You know, guess you guys can see that a little bit. I like that. That's what the look I wanted. I wanted to feel like I was away in a cabin. No matter where I was in my cabin. So that's what I did. My generator, most of the RVs come with Onan generators now. Either it's going to be a gas generator or it's going to be a diesel generator. You know, obviously, me having a diesel bus, I wanted a diesel generator. And instead of buying and dealing with an Onan contained unit, which I have nothing against, because my first one was a gas Onan, old 4000 Emerald 2, I believe it was, and 4000 or 4K or whatever it was, 4000 watt, and it did the job. I went through a couple carburetors and some points and you name it with that thing over the 5 years that I full time in it. Loved every minute of it. I did a lot of the work myself because I am handy and I am a master mechanic by trade. So I did a lot of that stuff myself, but it was interesting. You know, you get the bouncing idle every now and again, and you hit the button, it doesn't fire right up, and then the button it does fire right up, it's surging, and you know those Onans contain units. They all have their own little thing about them. I've seen some of the diesel units, and I mean they're cool, but I opted to build my own generator, and for inspiration I looked into how some of the big buses and the big conversions and the high dollar units, what were they doing, and a lot of them were using 3-cylinder diesel engines, Yanmar engines, if you guys are familiar with those, or Isuzu engines, which basically you see those engines, they use a lot of those engines like on construction sites to run pumps and things, and they'll connect them to a tank out in the construction site, a big diesel tank, and they'll just let them run for days, months, and they just run. I mean, they're just great. A lot of the marine boats used them back in the day, and I figured that was what I wanted to do, so that's what I did. So I bought a Isuzu 3C engine. It's one of the best engines you can buy, right, for a configuration like that. And then I measured out everything, and then I actually had a company in Atlanta build me a head to mount to the engine, a generator head, which is 16K. It's a 16,500 watt short 16K, 16,000 and a half watts. So that's a lot of power. It's enough to sell power to the neighborhood. It runs everything in this coach all at once if I needed to. 30 amp, but it's rated at upwards of 80 amps, which I ever take it there. So running both air conditioners and my hot water tanks and everything, refrigerator or whatever, is not a big deal for that. So one of the reasons again that I also went with that is, and we're just talking about when you're looking at getting into RVs or whatever, knowing what it is that you're looking for. So again, for me, I went that route with the generator because I don't want them to talk to each other, which was something that I ran into with the Onan, dealing with that for 5 years. You'll be sitting in your RV and you got your air conditioner on and you're happy and it's nice and cool and you're just happy, and then all of a sudden that thing shuts down and you're like, what the heck? And you think that you done tripped a fuse or a breaker or something, so you go out, you check your breaker, cut the breaker back on, you're trying to start it, it'll spin over, but it don't want to crank, and then you're trying to troubleshoot a host of things because it's one contained unit. The engine and the actual generator part itself is all in that one box, which makes troubleshooting a headache, especially if you're not familiar with those particular units. And then you got to check to see if it's putting out power, because if it stops putting out power, it'll shut the engine down. If the engine's having an issue or there's low oil in the engine, it'll shut the engine down. And you need to know when that thing goes down, what's wrong with it. You're out in the middle of nowhere, you're boondocking, you want to be able to troubleshoot quick. So that's why I went with that unit. Both of those units don't talk to each other. I will do a video on that. We'll see how this goes for those that are interested in this stuff. We'll see how this goes. I have a truck channel. It's a semi channel. I'm a truck driver, owner operator. I have a small truck company, and it's a pretty big channel on that side. So this side is a new side, but it's called All About Semis. You can look it up, All About Semis, and it's, you know, all truck semi related. But all that to say, those units, they don't talk to each other. So when that engine's running and this generator's spinning, it's putting out power. Period. If something happens with the generator, that engine's still going to be running. So I know that there's not a problem with my engine. If my power goes out, my engine's still going to be running. So I know there's an issue with my electric side, which has happened. I've been here one time and I did something and I tripped a breaker or something, and all my power shut off. The engine was still running. I knew right away, let me go check my breakers. And it was as simple as flicking a breaker. And then there's safeties and mechanisms put into the generator side to protect it. And then my engine has its own safety. So if it's low oil pressure, it'll shut down. If it's no power to the alternator, it'll shut the engine down. If it's, you know, overheating because there's temp sensors and gauges there, it'll shut the engine off. Simple system, super reliable. Have not yet had a problem since I've built that unit. Going on now a year almost. I have to look at my notes that I've had that unit built and put in. And I got tons of videos and things starting that for you guys that are interested in seeing that stuff. But I'm super simple. Same with the engine on this bus. You know, it's a 2-stroke diesel, 671 diesel engine, Detroit diesel. They call it the engine that won the war, as a matter of fact. And they just run. It's an old Screaming Jimmy from my old timers, and you just can't beat that engine, man. It's just I'm still impressed about this engine, you know, and zero problems. If there is an issue, it's normally a lot of times minor issue. Being as though it's a 2-stroke diesel, you know, it's no intake valves, it's all exhaust, and it's really simple. It's all mechanical, you know, change the oil, mechanical injectors, and they just run forever. So again, that was another reason why I gravitated to this bus. 4104s are great starter buses for guys that are wanting to get into the busing, and the buses, they're great just because they're simple. Because they're a lot older, getting parts can be a little cumbersome or challenging, you know, sometimes. But a lot of things like brakes, your normal things, you can get a hold of. It's more like the little body things you might need, like little lenses for the lights and things like that. And there's communities for that in every bus. It's just the same with the Eagles, you know, they got the 6V91s and whatnot, engines, and you can find a lot of that stuff. But again, functional. I just like things to work. I like to be able to go where I want to go. If I want to go cross country, I know that I'm going to make it, and things just simply work. For heat, for electric, I mean electric. For my, let me go back because I got so much on my brain right now. For my hot water, I have a 20, I think it's like a 20-gallon hot water electric tank like you would find in the home, up in one of the bays. It's a switch on the wall over there, cut it on, it's on, boom, hot water. And it's reliable. It's just simply reliable, you know, period. I had a tankless hot water system in my last bus, and I was going to take it out of that and put it in here, and then I found out that I really found that I really didn't need to, and I didn't want to, because that tank is insulated very well, and it keeps my water hot for a very, very, very long time. So I can heat the water up, shut it off pretty much most of the day, and it's, especially in the summertime, it's hot enough that it stays hot, so I'm not, you know, I'm really energy efficient with that. Versus, granted, I use that tankless. I cut that on. You'll have a little bit of water loss when it first cuts on, and then eventually you have the hot water, and it's, but it was unnecessary propane use that I really didn't need to run. So I'm probably not going to use the tankless. Just not seeing the need for it for my application, and yeah, it just works for me what I have, and that 20 gallon is pretty much good enough for me to go in and take a long enough shower that I want to take and not worry about hot water. So yeah, again, simple, super functional. You change the element out when it goes bad. If it goes bad, go to Home Depot, Lowe's, screw a new one in, done. Simple, reliable. And that's what I like to go for, for everything that I have in my RV. My inverters that I have, it's a 3,000 watt inverter, strictly used only for TVs, for these lightings that I'm using, microwave, air fryer, I have a hot water pot for make hot water, and that's it. I really don't need it. That's really more than enough power to run my TVs. They're all low wattage TVs, flat screens, and I can literally watch my TVs for days. I have a big enough battery bank that my inverter is connected to. My inverter is Bluetooth, so I don't even have to get out the bus to cut it on. I can cut it off from the phone or on from the phone. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show you guys right now. I got my side lights. My one light back there will stay on, but you'll see my side lights go off. So simply, I go in here. No need to get up under the bus or go out there to cut the inverter off. I have an app here. It shows me my power usage on my inverter, right? And then I just simply go in here and click power off, and there it is. And it's convenient. When I want my power back on, I just cut it back on just like that, and it should pop on. Bam. So simple, convenient, and reliable. So those are, the things that I've always centered my builds around, centered my buses around, and my RVs around. Because when you're out with your family, you just want to have a good time, and you want things to just work and be safe. And you don't want to have to worry about mechanical things and durability. And that's the other thing about the buses. They can pull a lot. These things are designed to carry people. So I pull my car. I got a little small Scion XA, and this thing, it'll pull that thing like it don't even know what's behind there. And the 40104s, they're geared a lot different, so they're not super fast, but they're strong. So you don't really have an issue with that. Depending on, and with any bus or vehicle, there's weight ratings. So you just got to be mindful about what you're pulling and where you're going. Going up a hill, this thing, she's not the fastest, but she'll get you up the hill. I probably will drop it down. It's 4-speed, so I'll drop it down into 2 or 3. I might go up a really, really steep incline, probably 25-30 miles an hour, but I'm okay with that. That's only when I'm going up the hills. Other than that, she's good to go. So I don't really have any issues. She's not overheating or anything like that, so it's good to go. So I hope this video was informative. If there's anything else that you guys want to see or know about or interested in, feel free to leave a comment, and I will get back. Like I said, this is just some of my first videos, so there's no intro, there's no cool stuff to see, but it will be coming in the near future. And in the next videos, if you guys want to see a tour and see some of that stuff that I talked about and how I have things set up in my bus and places I like to go and do with my family, subscribe, comment, like. It's your boy Aaron, aka QDeezy, the Double Easy, and you've just watched Rice RV. first episode of many to come. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.